What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on PrizePicks today. Now don't forget to like this video as it does let me know to continue to give you free picks every day. So make sure to like this video clicking that button down below. And if we get 550 likes, I will do another video for tomorrow. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group. And as you guys see, we actually got 20 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. So we are on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get 20 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon. Should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure you join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $1,000 just yesterday. Another member who won $104 for the 7th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. So quick shout out to Dark Harvards who said LFG and spammed up the money bag emoji, and shouts out to Messiah Dominguez who said let's go. So shouts out to them, and if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below on this video and like it, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're talking about is Amen Thompson for 0.5 3-pointers made, and this one is for less. Now looking at Amen Thompson, we actually have seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. Now looking at those 5 games, we see on November 22nd, faced off against Denver, had 1 3-pointer made there. November 25th, faced off against Phoenix, had 1 3-pointer made. November 27th, faced off against the Warriors, had 0 3-pointers made. Then 0 3-pointers made against the Utah Jazz on December 1st. And then against Utah Jazz again on December 2nd, had 0 3-pointers made. So it's definitely been a very interesting time for Amen Thompson because we have actually seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. Now looking at those 5 games as well, we also do see that the average over the last 5 is 0.40 as well. So it's definitely a big sign there, which is, you know, significantly below this line. But looking at Houston and Amen Thompson, we do know that Houston find themselves in a very good matchup against none other than the Sacramento Kings. So it is definitely going to be an exciting game for sure. And looking at where both these teams do lie, starting off with the Houston Rockets. Rockets have gotten off to a great start so far this season because they actually rank 3rd in the Western Conference. They have a record of 13 wins, 5 losses, a 72.2% win percentage there. And on top of that, they are 5-2 from home, 8-3 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So very interesting to see in that matchup. Now looking at the Houston Rockets, they face off against the Sacramento Kings. And looking in the matchup against the Kings, we do actually see Sacramento ranked 13th in the Western Conference. They actually have a record of 5 wins and 16 losses. That's a 23.8% win percentage there. They're also 3-7 from home, 2-9 from away, and are currently on a 3-game losing streak. So very interesting to see. You know, obviously looking at that, we have seen, you know, Sacramento definitely struggle a little bit so far this season. But looking at this matchup, we do like the under for Amen Thompson for 3-pointers made. So looking at Sacramento Kings, we do see when it comes to 3-point percentage allowed, we see that they rank 10th. When it comes to Kings with 3-point attempts allowed, we also do see that, you know, Sacramento Kings actually do rank, you know, somewhat decent as well, as they do actually rank 20th. But then 3-point makes allowed, we also see that the Sacramento Kings come in at the 15th spot. So they rank pretty mid-tier when it comes to, you know, restricting 3-point percentage, 3-point attempts, and 3-point makes. However, looking at this matchup, we do also see when it comes to Amen Thompson, we do know that he does play that small forward position usually. And Amen Thompson, we also see that, you know, Sacramento Kings do a fantastic job at restricting the 3-point shot. to Amen Thompson's position. So we definitely see it having a huge effect here. Now for someone like Amen as well, he doesn't have the highest usage rate in the 3-point department as well. Yes, he did hit a 3 against Phoenix. Yes, he did hit a 3 against Denver, but that was only 1 3. You know, his attempts out there isn't really that much. So that's why coming into this one, we do very, very much still like the under for it, as we do see that Amen Thompson's usage rate just really isn't that high. So, you know, for that reason, coming into this matchup against Sacramento, who do also a decent job at restricting 3-ball, we definitely see Amen Thompson going on the under here. Now, when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the under as well, so that works out in our favor there. So for that reason, Amen Thompson 0.5 3-pointers made for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about none other than Goga Bitadze. Now, I may have butchered that name really bad, but looking at Goga, this one is a great one for actually 5.5 rebounds, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at this matchup, now we do see that Goga actually has gone on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. Now, looking at those 5 games, we do see November 21st faced off against the LA Clippers, had 6 rebounds there. November 23rd faced off against the New York Knicks, had 7 rebounds. Then November 26th faced off against Philly, had 9 rebounds in that matchup. Then 3 rebounds against Detroit on November 29th. And then also December 2nd faced off against Chicago and had 5 rebounds there. So it has definitely been very, very interesting for, you know, Goga, and also the matchup against the San Antonio Spurs. Now looking at, you know, these 2 teams, Orlando Magic face off against the Spurs. Now, first I do also want to mention his average over the last 5 is 6. So coming into this matchup, we do see that Orlando Magic rank 5th when it comes to the Eastern Conference. So they rank 5th. They have a record of 13 wins, 8 losses, a 61.9% win percentage there. And on top of that, they are 8-3 from home, 5-5 from away, and are currently on a 3-game win streak. So very, very interesting to see there. Now, obviously, coming into this matchup as well, we do also know that Orlando Magic face off against the San Antonio Spurs. Now, looking at the matchup between both of these teams, we do see starting off, you know, with the matchup against Spurs as well, we do see Spurs rank 5th in the Western Conference. So, you know, similar when it comes to their ranking, however, in different conferences, they actually have a record of 13 wins, 6 losses, a 68.4% win percentage there. They're also 8-2 from home, 5-4 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So, very interesting to see, but looking at that matchup, we do or have seen that both of these teams are somewhat even when it comes to ranking, when it comes to East versus West, and they also have somewhat of a similar record. Now, Spurs do have a little bit of a better record, but that is besides the point. Now, looking at this matchup and looking at actually Spurs, we do see when it comes to rebounds allowed, Spurs do rank 4th. So they do a fantastic job at actually restricting rebounds, and that is a no-brainer and a big, big reason why we do like the under for this situation here. Now, for someone like Goga, what we also have seen when it comes to his game is that he definitely has struggled in the rebounding department over the last 2 games, and that is due to the fact that we have seen Orlando switch up a little bit of their sort of usage rate for Goga, and also, you know, their game plan, defensive game plan, offensive game plan, and it definitely has affected Goga's, you know, rebounding sector just a little bit. Now, although he does have a great, you know, games here and there in the past, he had one against Philadelphia, another one against Knicks, where he did get some high rebounds there. He was facing off against much easier matchups, and now that he comes into this next matchup against, you know, San Antonio Spurs, we actually are expecting Goga to go on the under due to the fact that we do believe that these outlier games have inflated these lines a little bit too high, that now there's a lot more value actually to go on the under. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for the under for someone like Goga coming into this game. And when we also look at the matchup between both of these teams, you know, we also do see that San Antonio Spurs also do a fantastic job at restricting rebounds to, you know, Goga's position as well. So that definitely works out in our favor. Bookies also agree with us there. Bookies have him favored for the under as well. So Goga Bitadze, 5.5 rebounds for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about another fantastic player, and that is none other than actually Darius Garland. So, Darius Garland, great player. Now, this one is for 2.5 3-pointers made, and this one is for less. Now, looking at Darius Garland, we have seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. Now, looking at those 5 games, you see on November 11th, faced off against Miami, had 1 3-pointer made there. Then, November 22nd, faced off against Indiana, had 3 3-pointers. November 24th, faced off against LA Clippers, had 0 3-pointers, 1 3-pointer against Atlanta on November 29th, then 4 3-pointers against Boston on December 1st. So, very interesting to see. He has gone on the under in 3 out of the last 5, as we've mentioned, but his average over the last 5 is also 1.8. So, very interesting to see there. Now, coming into this matchup, we do also know that Darius Garland does, or Cleveland do face off against the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, it is definitely going to be an exciting game for sure between both of these teams. But looking at both these teams, we do see, starting off with actually the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers do come in at the 6th spot in the Eastern Conference, and they had a record of 13 wins and 9 losses. So that's a 59.1% win percentage there. On top of that, they are 8-4 from home, 5-5 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. And on top of that, we also have seen that Cavaliers, yes, they are currently ranked 6th, but Eastern Conference has definitely shown out. There are a lot of really good competing teams, and they are hoping to continue to push for that top 3. Now, looking at Portland on the other side, Portland are in the Western Conference, but they rank 10th in the Western Conference with a record of 8 wins and 13 losses. That's a 38.1% win percentage there. They're also 3-6 from home, 5-7 from away, and are currently on a 3-game losing streak as well. So a little bit of an interesting, sort of matchup in a sense that Portland do rank significantly lower. And when we also look at Portland Trailblazers, defensively, we do see a little bit of a different story, because we do see that Portland Trailblazers do actually rank when it comes to 3-point percentage allowed. We do see that Portland do rank, a somewhat decent, but still a little bit on the lower side, as they rank 20th when it comes to 3-point percentage allowed. When we look at 3-point attempts allowed, we see that the Trailblazers also do rank, somewhat a little bit better, as they rank 4th. And then 3-point makes allowed, we see Portland Trailblazers rank 7th. So a little bit interesting there. Obviously, they rank a little bit low in 3-point percentage, but when we look at attempts, when we look at makes, we see that Portland Trailblazers rank very high. And that's why coming into this matchup, we do very much like the actual under for this situation here. Now, what we also have seen when it comes to Garland, we definitely have seen him struggle just a little bit as well when it actually comes to getting, 3 balls scored, in these multiple games. And he has faced off against much easier matchups as well, and he's definitely struggled from the 3 line. And we do believe that Garland's game isn't really just built for the 3 as of lately. He has been able to drive in, focus on that mid-range, and really get going there. So that's why coming into this matchup, we do very much like the under for this one, and we definitely see someone like Garland going on the under here. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for the under for someone like Darius Garland coming into this game. I see a lot of value there to go on the under, especially when we also see that he has also struggled, and we look at what the bookies are saying. Bookies also agree with us there. Now, with the matchup between Cleveland and Portland, we are also expecting a pretty slow paced game, and as we always mention, slower paced games means a less volume means less opportunity, especially for someone like Garland there. So all in all, we do very much like the under. So Darius Garland, 2.5 3-pointers made for less, I think is a fantastic pick.
So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but PrizePicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Con Newport. Now, as you all know, Con is a fantastic player for the Charlotte Hornets. Now, he is just a rookie, but he has been able to show out so far this season, actually averaging 18.3 points, 5.7 rebounds, 3 assists, and has also had a 46.5% field goal percentage. So he's done a fantastic job there. Now, he ranks 47th when it came to points, tied 65th when it came to rebounds, 86th when it came to assists, and then 89th when it came to field goal percentage. So we have actually seen Con Newport do a great job, so far this season for the Charlotte Hornets. Now, when it comes to Charlotte, they have themselves a very good matchup against none other than the New York Knicks. So, looking at both these teams and looking at where both of them do rank, starting off with actually Charlotte Hornets. Hornets come in at the 12th spot in the Eastern Conference. They actually have a record of 6 wins and 15 losses. So, that's a 28.6% win percentage there. As I mentioned before, they do rank 12th in the Eastern Conference, but they also have a record of 6-6 from home, 3-7 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So it's definitely been a little bit tough for the Hornets, but the Hornets do have themselves a matchup against even a tougher opponent because they face off against the New York Knicks, where the New York Knicks come in at the 4th spot in the Eastern Conference. So not only do they come in at the 4th spot in the Eastern Conference, but on top of that, we also do see they have a record of 13 wins and 17 losses. That's a 65% win percentage there. 10-1 from home, 3-6 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So they definitely have done a fantastic job in that matchup. And looking at that matchup, they do have themselves a very, very good, matchup against Hornets. But looking at New York Knicks defensively, because obviously we are looking at Con, but looking at the Knicks defensively, we do also see Knicks rank 4th when it comes to points allowed. They also rank 11th when it comes to assists allowed, and then rebounds allowed, they do rank 6th. So they actually rank very, very well in all 3 categories. Now, for that reason, coming into this matchup, we do very much like the under for this situation here. New York Knicks are just a great defensive team, and they definitely have shown out time and time again. A big part of it has definitely been due to the fact that Knicks do like to play slow ball as well. That's definitely been a big factor, as well as coming into this matchup. We do know that Knicks time and time again tend to slow the pace down, and as we all know, slower pace leads to less volume and less opportunity to score, rebound, and assist, and that's what we are expecting to happen to Con. Now, Knicks do a great job against guards as well, so that definitely works out, for the under for this one. But looking at Con Upel over the last 5 games, we see on the 24th faced off against Atlanta, had a 113-110 loss against Atlanta with 28 points, 3 assists, 6 rebounds there. After that, on the 27th, faced off against New York Knicks, had a 129-101 loss with 6 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds. After that, on the 29th, faced off against Chicago, had a 123-116 win with 12 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. After that, on the 30th, faced off against Toronto, had a 118-111 win with 20 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. And then also on the 2nd of this month, faced off against Brooklyn, had a 116-103 loss with actually 18 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds there. So it's definitely been fantastic to see, for Con when it comes to his usage rate time and time again. However, coming into this next matchup, we are expecting a very different story. Although he has had some big games over the last 5, this is a very different matchup as they face off against a very tough New York Knicks team. And when you also look at one of their most recent matchups, which was against the Knicks on the 27th, we did see Con Upel actually go on the under on his line. So we are expecting a similar outcome like that game that he did in that one. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for the under for Con. If the line is too close to his averages, then definitely look to go on the under there. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Onyeka Okongwu. Now, Onyeka has been fantastic for Atlanta Hawks. Now, he's done a fantastic job, actually averaging 16.4 points, 7.3 rebounds, 2.9 assists, and has also had a 51.4% field goal percentage. So he's definitely done a fantastic job there. Now, coming into this matchup, we do also know that Atlanta Hawks have themselves a very good matchup against none other than actually the Los Angeles Clippers. So it is definitely going to be an exciting matchup there. Now, looking at both these teams and where both these teams do lie, starting off with actually Atlanta Hawks, they do or have had themselves a really solid start to the season. Now, they do still rank 7th, so it isn't, a top number 1 team, but they have definitely done still a very decent job. They are in that playoff picture currently at 7th. They actually have 13 wins, 9 losses so far, a 59.1% win percentage there. And also 4-4 from home, 9-5 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So very, very interesting to see. But Onyeka Okongwu and the Atlanta Hawks
face off against, a LA Clippers team in the West, where LA Clippers haven't really had the greatest start as well, because they currently rank 14th in the Western Conference. Now they have a record of actually 5 wins, 16 losses, a 23.8% win percentage there. And on top of that, they are also 3-7 from home, 2-9 from away, and are currently on a 5-game losing streak. So it's definitely been very tough for the LA Clippers. Unfortunately, they have struggled quite a lot when it comes to, getting wins, due to the fact that they have had a lot of injuries as well, for sure. But coming into this one, we do also see that when it comes to, the matchup between both of these teams, looking at the LA Clippers defensively, we do see LA Clippers ranked 22nd when it comes to points allowed, 21st when it comes to assists allowed, and then when it comes to rebounds allowed, LA Clippers ranked 10th. So they actually rank a little bit high in that rebounding category. However, coming into this matchup, we do very, very much like the actual, over for this situation for someone like Onyeka, but strictly just for the points and assist department. Now, the big reason for that is that when we actually look at Onyeka Okongwu, we do also know that he does, although he has a decent usage rate in all 3 categories, especially in rebounds, the fact that LA Clippers do rank a little bit better at restricting rebounds, we definitely are staying away from that. So we definitely would focus a little bit more on points and assist here. LA Clippers not only really struggle at, restricting points and assists, but they also really struggle at restricting those categories to the actual forward position. So we are definitely expecting someone like Onyeka Okongwu to be able to take advantage of this, of LA Clippers' poor defense, and be able to go on the over in this situation from here. Now, looking at the last 5 games, we do see that, Onyeka Okongwu, the C on the 24th faced off against Charlotte, had a 113-110 win with 20 points, 3 assists, 7 rebounds. On the 26th faced off against Washington, had 132-113 loss and had 20 points, 0 assists, 3 rebounds there. On the 29th faced off against Cleveland, had a 130-123 win with 18 points, 4 assists, 7 rebounds. Then 10 points, 6 assists, 13 rebounds on a 142-134 win against Philadelphia on the 1st of December. And then 2nd December faced off against Detroit, had a 99-98 loss with 20 points, 4 assists, and 6 rebounds there. So it's definitely been interesting for Onyeka Okongwu. He definitely has done a fantastic job, time and time again. And what we also have seen when it comes to him is that he actually has done a fantastic job at really exploiting poor defenses. So we are expecting them to do the same thing coming into this next game for sure. So definitely keep an eye out for the over for someone like Onyeka coming into this situation. As I mentioned before, I think points and assists is definitely where you want to focus on the most, because that's where we definitely are expecting to see a lot more, ease ability for someone like him to be able to go on the over there. Now, when we look at this matchup, we also do know when it comes to Onyeka, he faces off against an LA Clippers team who not only just do a poor job defensively at forwards, but right now Clippers do have a lot of injuries as well. Now, even if they still do end up playing, we still see someone like Onyeka going on the over. Well, the amount of injuries that Clippers have and the expectancy of some players missing out, we definitely could see, Onyeka Okongwu be able to just take advantage of Clippers being a very, very poor roster at the moment. So no disrespect to any, Clippers fans at the moment, but that is kind of the case with them. That's one of the reasons why they have struggled and are currently on a losing streak. But we definitely see Onyeka being able to take advantage of this. So keep an eye out for the over, strictly for the points and assists line. And, keep an eye out for the line. If it is under his averages, then definitely look to go on the over. So getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about none other than Kyle Kuzma. So Kyle Kuzma, great player, as we all know, from none other than the Milwaukee Bucks. And he's done a fantastic job so far this season, averaging 13 points, 4.4 rebounds, 2.3 assists, and has also had a 50.2% field goal percentage. Now, he actually comes in 93rd or ranked 93rd in points, 111th in rebounds, 128th when it came to assists, and then 38th when it came to field goal percentage. So he definitely has done a fantastic job there. Now, when we look at someone like Kyle Kuzma, we do know that Kuzma does have himself a very, very good matchup against the Detroit Pistons. So it is definitely going to be an exciting game for sure. But looking at where both these teams do lie, starting off with actually, Milwaukee Bucks, they definitely have struggled quite a little bit this season. They currently find themselves in the 11th spot in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 9 wins, 13 losses. That's a 40.9% win percentage there. They're also 6-6 from home, 3-7 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So very, very interesting to see there. Now on top of that, they face off against none other than actually the Detroit Pistons, where Pistons come in at the number 1 spot in the Eastern Conference. So they are facing off against the top team in the East. Detroit Pistons have been fantastic. They currently, not only just ranked first, but they have a record of 17 wins, 4 losses, and 81% win percentage there. And on top of that, they currently are 8-2 from home, 8-2 from away, and are currently on a 2-game win streak. So they actually have done a fantastic job coming into this matchup. Now, looking at someone like Detroit and a team like Detroit defensively, we do also see that Detroit Pistons starting off with actually points allowed, they ranked 6th. When it comes to assists allowed, we see that Detroit Pistons ranked 1st. And then rebounds allowed, we also see that Detroit Pistons ranked 9th. So they've actually done a fantastic job over the last couple of games being able, to do a really, really good job there, as they do rank very high when it comes to restricting points, rebounds, and assists. Now, coming into this next matchup, we do know that when it comes to actually the Detroit Pistons, not only do they do a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists, but what we also do see when it comes to Kyle Kuzma, and why we do like the under for it, is that when we look at Detroit, they do a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the forward position. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for someone like Kyle Kuzma coming into this game. When we look at this matchup more in depth, we do also know that Kuzma has also, been in a position where he doesn't have the highest usage rate in this team, and especially against a team like Detroit who do a great job at restricting, as we've mentioned, points and rebounds. We are definitely expecting the under for this situation, as we should see him go on the under here. So I definitely would keep an eye out for the under for someone like Kyle Kuzma coming into this game. Now, looking at this matchup and looking at Kuzma over the last 5 games, we saw on the 25th faced off against Portland, had a 115-103 loss with 15 points, 0 assists, 6 rebounds there. On the 27th faced off against Miami, had a 106-103 loss with 8 points, 6 assists, 12 rebounds. After that, on the 29th faced off against New York Knicks, had a 118-109 loss with 20 points, 3 assists, and 4 rebounds there. Then on the 30th, faced off against Brooklyn Nets, had a 116-99 win with 11 points, 3 assists, and 1 rebound in that matchup. So they actually have done a fantastic job there. And then on the 2nd, faced off against Washington, had a 129-126 loss with 3 points, 6 assists, and also 2 rebounds there. So unfortunately, we have seen when it comes to Kyle Kuzma, he has definitely struggled, especially against tougher defensive matchups. And that's why coming into this game, we are expecting a similar situation here. Now, looking at someone like Kuzma, we do also know coming into this matchup, we do know that, Kuzma does not only just struggle, but as I mentioned before, he doesn't have the highest usage rate. And we are just expecting the other players in this Bucks roster to have a little bit more usage rate than him, especially against a team like Detroit, who do a great job at restricting usage rate from teams. So for that reason, we are expecting Kuzma's, usage to be sacrificed coming into this matchup. And we do very much like the under for this one. So for that reason, keep an eye out for the under for this one. So Kyle Kuzma, keep an eye out for his line. I see a lot of value there to go on the under, especially if the line is too close to his averages.